Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of Southold, formerly the First Universalist Church of Southold. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, we welcome you. Today we are gathering on the traditional lands of the Ammonhansuk Nation. My name is Suzette Reese and I'm a member of this congregation. We are glad to see you, whether you're visiting for the first time or come often. If you are not on our mailing or email list, please sign the guest book on the welcome desk as you enter the parking lot. You will then receive the Free Spirit newsletter each month and hear about upcoming events. Copies of the newsletter are on the action table to the left as you enter behind me. Please like us on the Unitarian Universalist Southold Facebook page, and we also stream our services there and on YouTube, so you can find past services archived. The action table has other information that you might find interesting. Also for your use, masks and hand sanitizer. So we offer many ways to serve this community, from providing hospitality, flowers, and ushering on Sunday mornings, to joining our social action and other committees. And please stay after the service for coffee, refreshments, and lively conversation. And today we have a special exhibition of John Wisman, who is a member, a very long-term member of our congregation. And we will have some refreshments, and we hope you'll join us there to view his beautiful work. So are there any other, I also have some, if you look at the back of your program, there's some upcoming events. I can just briefly tell you what they are in case you don't have the order of service. You don't forget to enter to win the bingo game prize, and that's on the action table as well. As I mentioned, we have following the service, the reception today, and that artwork will be up until November 30th. November 4th and weekly is yoga meditation with Nancy Bayless at 10:30 a.m. And November 4th, we have the Covenant group. The topic will be Where Do I Belong? And that's at 4 p.m. November 9th, Sunday service at the Suffolk County NYCLU. And Our migrant neighbors, Irma Solis and Tricia Martinez, will be speaking. November 12th is the SAC, and 8th Principal Task Force in person and Zoom at 4 o'clock. November 13th and 20th, NFEC Series Part 3 and 4 with Mark Hobner, that's the North Fork Environmental Council, at 6 p.m. November 15th, a community dance lesson. Merengue, 4:30, followed by community dance at 5 o'clock, and that's open. November 16th is our Sunday service, UUSC, guests at our table. David and Carolyn Holstein will be doing that service. And November 21st, we have the Soulful Sundown, which we haven't had for a while, with music by Barbara Novick and Deb Roth, 5 to 8 p.m. And November 23rd is the North Fork Action Center at 4 o'clock. Now, are there any other announcements?
Randy asked me to announce that there's a concert today by Emma's Revolution at the Bridgehampton UU in Bridgehampton, and they've had a lot of acclaim on the East End, and so join us if you can.
Good morning. I'd just like to remind everyone that, as if we don't know, that it's getting a little chilly. Winter's coming, as are the end of the year holidays. We have in the past partaken in a couple of different events and activities. We're doing things a little bit differently this year. As you know, we collect for CAST on a regular basis. And I really would suggest that if any of you would like, they really probably could use help with their food bank. I know they are very lucky. They get a lot of people that do donate to them, but a lot more people are going to be hurting this year. We are going to be doing collections for Maureen's Haven and John's Place through the winter. And that's going to be, you'll have baskets out in front. It's mostly little personal items that people can use to clean up while they're there and maybe take with them. They will be sleeping at alternate churches around the North Fork and primarily at St. Agnes in Greenport. That's the big Maureen's Haven. Maureen's Haven. John's Place, sorry. Maureen's Place would probably be mostly at the Presbyterian Church. We are looking for more active ways to be involved with them. Is having a volunteer training coming up. So look into that. They do need volunteers. We want to be doing more than just giving people money. Then also, when we have the November 9th service, we are going to be giving back or giving the shoes that you've been collecting for the last number of months for En Camino and Mi Camino on my journey. We won't be collecting anymore until after the holidays for next year's collection, because during the holidays we're going to be doing the collections for Maureen's Haven and St. John's Place. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. So you're not just hearing from me.
You have to hold it close. All right. I want to talk a little bit more about the environmental programs that we've been putting on. They're very, very different than the usual. Mark Haubner has been president of the North Fork Environmental Council for years. He has gone deep into research about how we can make the changes naturally. And every session is different. So you don't have to go to the one before to get a lot of information from the next one. So I encourage you all to arrive. We provide It's a really important service for us because it will give us an opportunity to learn about concrete ways we can help the migrants who are living and suffering in this community.
And now, please take a moment to greet your neighbor.
could join me in reading the words printed in your order of service as Suzette lights our chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Our opening words this morning are those of Sarah Getty McNeil. Come in from the crisp morning air outside. Come in wearing the autumn sunlight on your face. Come carrying the turning of the seasons in your heart. Whatever and however the greatness of life is speaking to you now, you are welcome here in our circle of friends. You are welcome here in this circle of love and care. You are welcome into this time for holding grief and celebration close together. If you could join me and rise in body or in spirit and sing our opening hymn number 306, Sing of Living, Sing of Dying, 306 in the gray hymnal. If you could join me for our words of affirmation followed by our doxology. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth and love, and to help one another. Southold. This morning's offering will now gratefully be received.
Now is the time where we can share our joys or sorrows and throw a pebble in the water. Or if there's anything you want to just be silent and just come up and put a pebble in the water, that's fine too.
I have two joys to share this morning. One is my great-granddaughter, Milla Wisman, is a year old. Oh, I'm doing it very good. Thank you. And the other is that Margaret Brown has a birthday today.
Sing a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Margaret. Happy birthday to you.
This is a stone of concern. Lauren's mother's partner has been admitted to the hospital, Reverend Burns, and hopefully things are going to work out.
Anyone else? I just want to put a stone in about the exhibition we're going to enjoy starting at noon. John Wisman. So let us remember there are always joys and sorrows that go unspoken for many reasons. But we are not alone as we hold one another in our hearts.
the Wampanoag Nation of Martha's Vineyard have a teaching about death. And the story they tell, explaining death, goes a little bit like this. Their folk hero, Masho, please forgive the pronunciation, was sitting by the fire one night, and he looked out at the night sky, and he saw the moon passing by, where his brother lived. And they conferred for a while, and Masho said to his brother, Mahadu, you know, you look pretty lonely up there. And he said, yes, I have no souls in my land. And they conferred, the two brothers together, and they decided it was finally time for the creatures of earth to try to do something about death. Because there were two doors, that's how they figured it. The door of birth and the door of death. And up until then, no one had gone into that second door, or that unknown place, the door of death. So they called a big council, all the female creatures, animals and humans alike, and all the male creatures, animals and humans alike, to confer separately on this issue. And they all recognized that they couldn't just keep letting people in the door of birth indefinitely, because if they did that, there'd be no resources for anybody, right? Eventually, all the food would run out. And so they all conferred for a while, and then, this is to make a long story short, of course, and the men eventually got up and said, look, this is how we think it should be. Let's just close off that door of death, and also that door of birth. And we'll just let things be as they are for a while, and we'll go on, it'll be fine. But then the women had a say. And they said, that is not how it's going to be. We have all these new lives coming in. Yes, they made mistakes, just like we have, but they make different mistakes, and we can learn from them. We can learn to have new lives, new celebrations, new memory, new art, new stories. If we keep the land of birth going and we open the land of death, it may be really hard, but we will need both doors. And so, of course, that is how death came into the world. The women won out. And what I love about this story is it says something true about loss. Maybe not just loss about people we love, but all kinds of loss. And that is that as hard as grief is, and how, yes, we know that it can be complicated, right? When you have unfinished business, or maybe you didn't have a great relationship with that person you lost. There are lessons and memories and celebrations, and most importantly, gratitude that can be gained from honoring people we have lost. Not just when they pass on, but maybe collectively, as we do throughout the world at this time of year. Dia de Muertos, All Souls Day, All Saints Day. And so, with that thought in mind, honoring both the door of birth and the door of death, if you have brought a photo or object of somebody you'd like to honor on our table of our altar of memory, please bring it forward. Or if you didn't bring anything and you just want to say a few short words, you can do that too. I'll pass you the mic. And if you want to stay in your seat, I'll rush over to you, because I know sometimes you just don't feel like getting out of your seat. So let us build this altar of memory together.
I want to remember my brother. This is a self-portrait he painted of himself, I guess in the 1980s. He was an artist and creative in so many different ways. I just also want to remember my parents who suffered the loss of a child before it was anybody's time, and the courage that they had to carry on.
It turns out this is the anniversary of my mother's death. She was a lovely mother. She had very high standards, obviously. That was a problem. But I brought a painting that she painted just after she was married. If you have a chance to look more closely at it, it's a table, some simple candlesticks. Those objects are still in our family. Of course, the wine bottle has gone its way. And I always look at this, as I say, I have the table. So I look at this and I think of all those hopes and dreams she had. This was painted just after she was married. And I treasure it because I know she had the hopes and dreams. And I know a lot of those hopes and dreams were not what happened in her life. Particularly, she had very naughty children. I hope you enjoy looking at it.
This is a picture of my son Stephen, who died in 2014 of a massive heart attack. And the heart problems run in my father's family. He was going to come take care of me when he retired, and that didn't happen. So I'm here alone. Think of him every day.
This is a picture of my husband, Fortune, who passed away 6 years ago. His birthday was Veterans Day, which is very appropriate. He was a very strong soldier. So his birthday is coming up the 11th of November, and he was a wonderful husband, 5 children, 14 grandchildren, 8 great-grands. He didn't see them all, but I think of him often.
Well, I've had a number of losses since I've lived to be 83, and including both my parents, my mother at a much too young age, my sister at a very, very young age, and my brother who felt he was in the prime of his life when he was struck down by ALS. But today I want to remember all the wonderful people that I got to know when I joined this church in 2010. And they are, of course, John Wisman. He was one of the most warmest greeters when I first came to the church, and proudly told me that he was in his 90s and still painting, and had a wonderful wife who painted along with him. Of course, there was Ed Booth, who was a dear friend of my family, and John Spire, who always inspired me, and of course, Julie and Gail, who were progenitors of this church, along with all of her other progenitors, and whose daughter lives on the tradition that they created in the family for this church. Jean Swanky. Now I'm blocked. Malcolm, of course Malcolm, and a very dear beloved spouse for many years to our wonderful music director, Charlotte. Oh, Peter Young. My, what a shock that was. I never even got a chance to know him, but I know he was a wonderful spouse to Susie. And from the wood of the burned church, he created our wonderful collection plates, along with lovely little animals that I think are just gorgeous. And Susie carries on with him, I know, in spirit. Anybody else I've forgotten? Oh, of course, Danya, another person I really didn't get to know, but I felt her influence and her spirit, and really felt the sorrow of her family when they lost her. There's got to be someone else. Oh, Bill Funk. He was quite an eccentric guy, but he loved the church, and he tried to do the best he could for us. Anybody else remember someone? Jean Swanky.
Wow, Susan, that's too many of us that have gone, really, way too many. And of course, Marta. I had her 2 little babies yesterday for overnight. We certainly miss her and love her.
I have a picture of my parents, Helga and Charlie Michelle, and they were actually members of this congregation back in the 70s and 80s when the Brian Kopke years, if anybody remembers those years. So I put them here.
So here I have my mom and my grandmother on my father's side, and I think they were at a nice restaurant here looking at the menu and feeling pretty good in this picture. It really is a very beautiful picture of the two of them. And I didn't want to leave my father out, so I have a picture here of my dad with a beard, which he usually didn't have, but every once in a while he would grow a beard. And he's holding the only grandchild he got to know, the first grandchild, my sister's daughter Amber, with my mom. So those are my pictures.
Hi, I'm Eva. I wanted to remember my mom. Her name was June Roberts, and she was born in 1936, and she died in 2007. And she was a disability rights advocate because she had MS and she was 14. I'm glad she's not here now with all the stuff going on right now. She fought for the Americans with Disabilities Act. She fought for Suffolk County accessible transportation. So anyhow, I didn't bring anything, but I've got her DNA and I have her hair. So I guess I'll throw a rocket. Can I throw a rocket? There you go, Mom. Just one thing. I wanted to say something about all my pets. Charlie died. He was an arch tabby January 1st. He was feral, but we had a bond. And then there was Snowball, who I adopted from the shelter. She was a Cocker Spaniel. Only had her for a short while. And then before her was my Snowy,
who got hit by a car. And so after Snowy died, I really was pretty much alone that time, and I went and got Snowball. But before that, I grew up with Princess, who lived a very long time, was my childhood companion. And so that's, I wanted to remember all of the pets.
I'm sharing this photograph of John that was taken by one of our guests. John was picking blueberries in a field in Maine, and if you look at it, he has a little cup for the blueberries, but he has a little bouquet of daisies. He never came home without some sort of little bouquet of wildflowers or something, and that's the way I like to remember him. Also, of course, his work is up in the nether regions behind me, and I hope if you knew him, you'll see his joy. And so
I have a picture of my husband, who was a member of this congregation and worked a lot on the rebuilding, and I miss him terribly.
I have a picture here from the summer of 1978. And in this picture are some really special people, and some of them are now gone. The two people right here on your left are my parents. And we stayed at their house in the summer in Davis, California, and they had a pool. So everybody else, well, including them, spent most of the time we were all there in the pool. It was wonderful. And so then, so of course lost them years ago and miss them still. When I thought about today, I was really thinking about my father, because his birthday was on Halloween. So we always had his birthday and then my birthday, and thought it was very fun. So he just happy birthday, Daddy, a couple of days ago. And then over here, down here, this little girl is our daughter, Tracy. She was Tracy then. She became Leora. She chose her middle name as she got into, well, college. She couldn't get rid of Tracy until college. But she wanted to have a more grown-up name, I think, than Tracy. So she was Leora. And we lost her in 2008 to adrenal cancer. But she left us with twin grandchildren who are not in the picture, obviously, because she was only 4 there. My 2 brothers are in this picture, and they're fine. And my brother Thomas, who lives in Little Rock, Washington, and his wife are really well. My brother Richard in Yakima, Washington, is now a widower because his beautiful wife died about a year ago. So these are my loves and my losses, and you can take a look.
Is there anyone else?
I would like to remember Malcolm Day, Charlotte's husband, who died on January 6th, I think. He was a good friend. I had a lot of fun with him. He was a good jokester, and he always liked puns and all, But you know him, so I just wanted to remember him.
What is remembered lives, and what is cherished we hold in our hearts.
meditation words are a poem from Rosemary Watola, a drummer. On Earth, just a teaspoon of neutron star would weigh 6 billion tons. 6 billion tons equals the collective weight of every animal on Earth, including the insects, times 3. 6 billion tons sounds impossible until I consider how it is to swallow grief. Just a teaspoon, and one might as well have consumed a neutron star. How dense it is, how it carries inside it the memory of collapse, how difficult it is to move them, how impossible to believe that anything could lift that weight. There are many reasons to treat each other with great tenderness. One is the sheer miracle that we are here together on a planet surrounded by dying stars. One is that we cannot see what anyone else has swallowed. If you could rise in body or in spirit and sing with me our closing hymn in the teal hymnal, number 1060, as we sing of hope and joy.
Some know
If you could join me as I extinguish our flame, symbol of our